But coming up for the first matchup of the day, we're going to have the Paris Legion facing off against a brand new team that's been added to the CDL this year, the Boston Breach, and we all love them. But it's time to send us over to the commentators. Miles and Chance, fellas, how you doing today?
Oh, Veli, I mean, I'm so excited today. These nipples could cut glass. What a glorious day for Call of Duty news. Between all the stuff with MW2 and the Warzone stuff, and now we got rank play, and now we got these teams going at each other. I'm just ready to get into the matches. Shots, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. I think it's an interesting day we have, right? We talked even like the Seattle match we got later against Minnesota. I'm very excited for that one. But the way we have it now, I think the lay of the land for Boston Paris, I'm already thinking about the major. I'm thinking about the seeding. And both of these teams in an interesting spot because this is the most competition we have ever had in the CDL. Honestly, by a mile, like Paris, so I think a lot of people were expecting to be towards the bottom. They're going to Game 5 against FaZe. So the dust has not settled, but you need to get CDL points. And I think this head-to-head matchup, these are very comparable teams. You need to get those 10 points. You need to get some sort of the edge because their strength of schedule later on is a little bit ridiculous.
Strength of schedule, we'll touch on that a little bit later. But for today's schedule, our maps and modes for this upcoming series, it's going to be a fun one. We're going to start things off with a very nice, calm, and probably not very close Bocage hardpoint. Tuscan S&D after that, and Gavutu control for map number 3. After that, a double dose of Berlin to close out the series should we need to get there. And again, chance for a lot of Paris fans, and believe me, they're out there. A Game 5 against Atlanta FaZe, not a bad thing to look at whatsoever. I do expect them to be a little bit more closer against a squad like Boston Breach, but Boston, I mean, this is a squad with a really high skill ceiling. We've seen how they performed on LAN, a beautiful debut. The bigger question for me now is like, all right, guys, you've had some time in the lab, you've had some time against other teams. How are you faring now? How are those inconsistency questions coming up? How are Nero and Capsidal looking like in a longer run? This is what I want to know. How are they looking now that they've had more time under their belt? And I think this is a very, very good sort of litmus test for their sort of placement in the league so far.
And we also have the situation where, like, we already know every single team in the league is going to be making improvements or start to make roster changes. But if you can't keep up with the progress of the rest of the league, you're going to end up falling behind. So as good as moments of both of these teams have had, like, you have to continue to get better. And funnily enough, at least for the side of Boston, the map set that we have, it's pretty much the only maps that they play, right? Both of these teams have only played Gavutu Control. That's the map we have in this series. So I think if nothing else, it'll be sort of comfort picks for both of these teams. So whatever progress, again, that we can see between the two, I think will be the clear indication of where things are going to end up settling through the power rankings of the league.
Indeed, we're almost ready to get things going again, trying to get things kicked off at 12 p.m. Pacific sharp. Whatever that means in the rest of the world, I've got no idea. I don't know where you're calling in from, but I appreciate you. We're loading into the map right now, friends. It is almost time to rock and roll. I'm still thinking about rank play, mate. Between all the skins and stuff, I tweeted this one out. Here's a tweet I actually tweeted it. Oh, they've saved us. I was going to say something a little salacious, but here we go, friends. Bocage hardpoint map number 1. Let's get today's games underway. Week 2 now of our qualifiers leading up into the OpTic Texas Major, and this should be a very fun one indeed. Paris Legion, Boston Breach, map number 1. Here we go.
And you can see the hard point comparison between these two teams. Neither one has been particularly strong, and I think on Bocage it's been somewhat similar between these two teams. Paris right now has the worst hold percentage in the game on this map, and the way we define a hold is you win the rotation, and then do you score more points on that actual hill. Paris is 50-50, so even when they're rotating, it is 50-50 of whether or not they're going to get more points. So Paris a little bit struggling on Bocage, but for Boston, it's almost the inverse. They are 10th overall in break percentage for these hills, so it'll be very interesting dynamic between these two teams.
I also just wanted to bring a slight attention to the more astute viewers who have noticed that Paris Legion may or may not be wearing a very particular piece of garment. Here we go, though. The slow and steady approach into Bocage has not been terribly profitable for the Boston Breach so far, but they're playing on their toes, and that's for sure. In Capsidal, I mean, watching this young man's gameplay could give you whiplash. He is flying around indeed. Nice awareness on a 3 spree. Oh, makes it a 4. There's a couple more to be had around here, and your boy Capsidal is having an interesting start for sure. It's a 5 spree now, Chance. And Spawns, they were all looking good for the Breach players, but now Paris Legion with an opportunity to turn this around, going into tanks.
Yeah, Capsidal basically just taking a tour of the entire map, but you give up those back spawns for a second, and this is the only, like, money hill we really have on this map. Paris get here first, and this has been their problem, right? Their hold percentage has been 50-50. This is the hill on the map you need to hold, and already you see the nades getting players outside of the hill. John might pick up 2, but look at how quick Boston is to flip those spawns, cause problems on this hill. this is the one money hill for P2 that Paris need to make sure they orchestrate better. I gotta say, at least for the first couple seconds, bit of a rough start.
Yeah, it's going all right. I mean, you've got spawns now for Boston, but can you now make the final break? No, great awareness from John. Slip slides on the inside, TJ from the front. Here come the kills. Methodz back on point. That's TJ. That's not the other side, Zinni. As he's gone full Nick Merckx with a forehead cam right now, we appreciate that. As he's still trying to find that time. Boston Breach now slowly but surely etching a lead forward. Over to P3, over to Grandmas, and wow, Capsidal staying alive by the skin of his teeth. That was a real impressive in and out. And now the parkour, now the re-engagement from upstairs. John's on the stairs, no problem whatsoever. Paris will still hold.
TJ just got fantastic timing, by the way. You see he's lining up the kills he wants to get in order, but this is his opportunity to be the cutoff man. Even if these players are still spawning in the back, if TJ can stay alive or maybe just get his team the spawns, but you get that well control and you get the break. Again, a situation where Paris, they win that rotation and then they just lose the hill oh so quickly. Admittedly, still a dogfight around the actual hard point. This is where things get mixy, but again, for Paris, you want things to be a little bit stronger on those holds.
Yeah, it's a sneaky play from TJ. Again, a very good one indeed. Over to Fellow now. Trying to find one avenue of attack now into Grandmas. John from the back is going to get cleaned up there. Again, good work out of Capsidal once again. One of the newcomers in this season we will be giving a lot of props to as long as he keeps up the fine play, and so far so good. Nero's having a slower map so far here in Barkaj, but you can't take anything away from the squad. They are living and dying as a team, and that's what it's all about, not only in League, but in ranked play soon as well, friends.
And I mean, you talk about rank play, you're about to get me to act up. Fun fact about Barkaj, by the way, just to try to turn the conversation. We talked about P2 really being the only money hill. A stat that Carson, our stats guy, is keeping track of this year is shutouts on specific hills. And every single map has like one hill where you can absolutely shut the other team out. Just a 0% rate. You're like your P5 Tuscans, whatever it may be. On Barkaj, it is 4 out of the 5 hills. Every single hill but P2, there has never been a shutout. Like, not a single one. It is that mixy. Both teams guaranteed to actually be able to collect time. So really, again, it just sort of adds to the chaos of the map, which, well, on Barn, maybe we're getting just a taste of it. As Capsidal still lighting the feed. Man has 16 kills, and we're not even done with that first set of rotations.
I mean, that stat tells us that, Barkaj, if you didn't put it together already, it's possible to contest almost every single hard point. So expect chaos all year long as Methodz tries to calm that chaos and find a few kills now going into the last hard point of our first set. Dashy's already in place. Paris in the driver's seat for the time being on the spawns and rotations. That's now all gone for them. Boston Breach starting to walk away with this one. Here comes the hit on towards the point shots, and it's going to be a headbutt.
Yeah, it's a headbutt. And also quickly, again, Paris was the team that got their first players inside the hill. Challenge out and die, and Boston walks straight on in. Again, for Boston, the theme was they were 10th overall in actual break percentage. Every single time, though, that they've lost a rotation in this game, it takes them a matter of 5 or 10 seconds before they actually break through. And now you get Methodz posted up top. He's got a great head switch, and honestly, he just needs to play for kills, get his boys inside the point, and Boston should be able to fry.
Eddie playing this very well. Boston should be able to fry with about 20 seconds left in this hard point. Let's go for a listen in with Boston Breach.
Give me left. Low, John low. Yeah. I have left. Okay, John's low. I'm dead. Got him out. L time. L. Push out left. Nothing left. John, one shot time. Bottom house. I'll get River. He's one shot bottom house. He's only left there. 30 Z. He's fine. Ripple that. Good shit. Nice. Still bottom house. Tim. He's 10 no. 10 River hut. River. I think he's one. I got you. Right there. Dead. You got shit on. I don't see him. Hot dead. We missing one. I'm taking back. Okay, yeah, that's all right. I'm right. I think I'm left here. He could be barn. He could be barn. Hey, not the barn. He could be barn. You shoot. P2 tech, one shot, fellow dead. River's open. Yeah, there you go. Top house. Then another one. He's going bottom barn. John bottom barn. He's fine. I don't see him. He's bottom barn doors probably. I'm spawning 10. I don't see him. Big ol' hole. Could be guard tank. Right. One shot. That's the river. Low ball, wait. He's in. Try to play life. He's holding you. Okay. I'm trying to play life. I'm just trying to stay up. GT, silver. One's gate now. That's time. Z weak. Hold right when you spawn. Yep. I stunned two of them.
Paris Legion not able to truly bring the lead back just yet, Chance, but Boston, they're looking fine so far. The kills department still very much in favor of Capsidal.
And I respect the comms as well. I mean, they're ready to go. I will say towards this B2 rotation, they've dealt with the pressure pretty well, but you don't have barn control. It makes things a little bit tricky to actually get a player like John outside of the hill. And you see he's ready for the gunfights to come, but they've actually cleared out those spawns. Boston, they're getting the bottom left instead of over towards tin. So Paris, honestly, this is the best hill potentially they have had all game long. They're working from an 80-point deficit, which on Bocage, 80 points is a massive amount, but they've cut it down quite a bit. 20 seconds left to go on this hill. You got number one on the map already rotating. Finally, John gets taken care of by a nades, but Paris maybe with a little bit of wind in their sails, a little bit of momentum potentially going their way.
Yeah, they started sailing there towards the end of that second hard point there in our second set, and I will be honest, they have themselves control now for P3. Grandma's is all theirs. Will they be able to keep the hold of this one? Because last time it was TJ in that very spot who did manage to make the big old wrap and help the break there. Now, Paris, how long can you hold for? Temps the front line. He's going to find those kills. You can see the back and forth of that John on the stairs, just making sure that everyone's safe and sound. Nades now flying on through. Paris Legion still holding tight. John, the trades are on point. Dasy's got the front covered. How many more kills can we get, Paris? Nero wins a big one. Now here comes the contest. You're starting to get overwhelmed as that's going to be another set of kills, and that could be the break. Paris is still on the outside of Grandma's chance, but the kills are certainly going in the favor of the Boston Breach in this point.
I mean, it's chaos inside the actual hard point just because Paris has those back spawns. But either way for Boston, this has been a very nice break into the actual hill, right? The TJ play that worked the first go around gets shut down, but they're just able to bully their way through the front. The teamwork has been on point. TJ, he's mixing up what weapons he's going to be using as well, but all things considered for the situation for Boston, not too shabby. Have about a 50-point lead after dealing with that hill, but you see that rotation towards barn. Number 4, Fellow. He's already posted inside, and actually, Paris, they have somewhat of a ridiculous map spread right now, and the pressure for the moment is going to be on Dashy.
It's fine, Dashy. Get these kills on the outside, see where the other team's spawning. That's the question now. Eyes on that mini-map. They're going to be spawning not too far out, but again, it's a foot race now to reinforce the point. Fellow, he's a player on your screen right now, trying to lock down the inside of barn, and here comes the contest, just trying to find as many kills as much time as possible, because Boston Breach have been absolutely silent for the last 2 to 3 hard points. This has been a great look out of Paris Legion. You got 30 seconds left here on barn, and they are netting the majority of this time.
And now you get tempted to be the cutoff man, right? You even see number 1 on the minimap. He's got the bottom side. So Paris, this is a clean setup you are putting together on this barn hill. Boston, oh so far away. No one can even get close to contest. Number 5 finally around forward. But John, you win this one-on-one gunfight, you should be good to go. TJ, though, picks up the 2-piece and takes him down. But that is all for 7 seconds of scrap. Paris have fought back in this game, strung together a few nice hills, but now they need to get the break. They have been clean on the rotations, but this is Boston's first real opportunity to try to get a strong hold on the hill. And I mean, Methodz, he is posted up deep in the back of the map.
Dashy plays it well, and here comes the reinforcements from Paris to break through the back. Now they're closer to the hard point. Temp's going to find a few more in the kill feed. Once again, it's Boston Breach now being pushed back. Dashy slides through. Capsidal wins it on the backside of Trench. And now the pressure, it finally alleviates. A great defensive hold out of Boston. They're going to stay alive for now, keep the hard point time ticking in favor. They're about to cross over the 200-point mark. Paris find a little bit of that special something, that va-va-voom, and keep the play going. This is still anyone's hard point.
I mean, Capsidal has to deserve the credit for this hill, right? Because it looked like the break was going to be good. Paris using that teamwork to get around the back, but it was this hill where he goes on a 4 spree. It was a 20-point game going into that hill, but the Breach able to just dominate the feed since then. Get a nice little lead. Capsidal, well, he doesn't need the streaks, but he might be thinking about 32-19. No questions about whether the kid can slay. 6th streak for him.
Yeah, the kid can slay. Got himself now the strafing run. 1 more kill is going to get in the glide bomb. Time still going the way of Boston Breach. And again, you got him center hard point now covered. Back towards the gate we go. That's going to be full streaks right now. And here comes the pressure in mid. And Capsidal, he is a one-man army right now. He's going to keep finding these kills, blocking out the players from Paris Legion. No one's getting through because this bounce has said your name's not on the list. You're not getting anywhere near that hard point. 10 seconds now for the win. The final kills come through, and there we go. The last-minute break from Paris Legion. You've got 10 seconds for the win for Breach. And on a map like this, where you can contest almost every single hill, it is going to be curtains. Boston Breach off an incredible performance from Capsidal. This should be the opening map closed out. The time's going to go their way, and oh baby, not a bad start for the Boston Breach here in our first series.
Not at all. That is as good as it gets on Bocage. Near 100-point victory. Things started to get close, and those final 2 hills, Breach absolutely shut them down, and that was off the back of Capsidal going on the 9 or 10 spree, whatever he had. And funnily enough, Temp actually was the main slayer in that lobby. He was stringing together some kills, but I think the theme for me is, despite the fact that Paris out-rotated him for what, like 80% of the hills, it felt like that game, Breach consistently, it was just a cakewalk for those guys to break inside and strip away a ton of that time. But there's a look at the feed, right? Capsidal 37 and 20, Temp had 38, but in spite of that, no one else for Paris really able to step up and slang. Fellow especially, only 15 kills on a map like Bocage. Not ideal for the main AR.
Yeah, it was interesting to watch he brought back up the rotations. You know, it did feel like 80% of the rotations were Paris Legion 1, but they were losing out on the kills there. And again, it was bad timing. It was a bit of unlucky play, you know, watching Decimate get shot in the back or whatever down by River. That happens so many times. That clean break from TJ in the first set that helped them get in the third as well. Massive stuff. And as we look across these highlights, it's mostly Capsidal.
And for good reason. Again, I think he opened up the map on like a 6 or 7 spree and followed it up a couple different times. And it really was the case on like that final River hill where it was a 20-point gap. It was one of the first hills Boston really able to get set up on that rotation. And even when the pressure from Paris was coming around the back of the map, well, he goes on the 4 spree just to keep that hill alive and just rattles it through. So Daps will step it up, making the big plays, but honestly, Boston just straight up looked like the better team.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, they were definitely the better team. The second set, they fell apart for like 3 hard points. Paris Legion brought that back wonderfully. And then it was like, okay, Boston, you know, they pulled the socks up. The go button was hit once again. You know, they managed to get the engine started, and that was it. They were all good from there on out. But still, not a bad opening from either team. Boston, a decisive start, bit of a lapse in the middle, and a solid closeout there in Bocage hardpoint. Tuscan Search and Destroy now coming up next. Before we get to that, though, we will now look at our game fuel keys to victory chance, because we missed that in the opening segment because of the wonderful roundtable from our friends over at Treyarch and, of course, the league, as we talked about ranked play. But now for the game fuel keys to victory, mate. Boston Breach right off the rip. What do we make?
I remember when we were talking about for like the Bocage, specifically teams towards the bottom of the league. Well, going into the surge for Boston, they're okay in the first blood category, but when it comes to actually winning the rounds after getting the picks, bottom of the league. And that is something that is unacceptable pretty much on any map in this game. You have to win your 4v3s, like 58%. If it's close to a 50-50 when you get the man advantage, that is not ideal. So, of course, Breach are going to be looking to turn that around. After that, you got to make sure you're better on the non-tradeds. I think Capsidal handled that very well by himself in the hard point. And despite the fact that they didn't early rotate at all on Bocage outside of 2 or 3 hills, they still took care of business. However, I will say when we go to map 4 on Berlin, well, the rotations matter quite a bit more for that one. So got to look out for Boston to be a little bit quicker.
Yeah, we do manage to get to that game 4, a very different look in that map of Berlin. Also, Tuscan Search and Destroy coming up now. We've had some real tight ones, Chance. We've had some real close ones. Paris Legion, yeah, a little bit of thinking to be done going into this next one. But again, a team that is very solid when it comes to S&D performances. Look at the game fuel keys to victory now for Paris Legion.
And honestly, the control is going to be very interesting for the map 3. Again, both of these teams have only played Gavutu, but Paris Legion, one of the best teams in the game on defense, at least by percentage. They're winning 88% of their defensive rounds, so got to make sure they just keep that ball rolling. You see the breaking hills has been a problem for them. Well, Bocage was a bit of an indication that that is still a bit of a struggle point. And then Fellow, yes, the man AR being 46 in the league in slang. Not ideal. We saw it on Bocage, only 15 kills on the map. It's really the answer, like on an individual basis, he's got to step up.
I've got to find him kills, man. I mean, if you're killing players on the enemy team, you're helping everyone out. Although we will be said that it has happened a few times in this game where, you outslay a team, you still lose those hard points. And that is a considered, metric in these matchups. But here we go, Search and Destroy metrics at the moment. That's the round percentages chart so far, and the Breach have a distinct advantage when it comes to those offensive and defensive round wins. Paris Legion not getting as much in the plant department either.
And again, that could very well be a map-specific thing. We're going into a Tuscan where if you can get the bomb down on offense, you are in a phenomenal position. So maybe look for Paris to bump that number up just a little bit, at least on this map. And even to be a bit more map particular, Boston, 70% of their wins on Tuscan offense. And for Paris, it gets a little bit better, all the way up to 60%. So I'd say both of these teams, solid in Search and Destroy. We haven't had enough maps to really get a clear indication, but obviously they have a pretty good idea of what they want to do.
They do indeed. Tuscanus and D map number 2 now loading in. 2 bomb sites. First to 6 rounds wins it. And we will see who can find the goods here. Expecting some snipes to be found across those long lines of sight by the A side of the map where the grass is. Spicy stuff when it comes to offensive map rounds. That's 63% wins for those teams on offense. Get the bomb down, find them kills. That has been the name of the game here on Tuscan since kickoff, chance.
And again, you see like the neutral retakes. That just shows if you get the bomb down, it is very tough for the defense to win unless they have like a pretty massive man advantage. John, though, legendary sniper in Call of Duty. Well, maybe nothing for him for the moment. You see the first blood going to Capsidal. And this is the question. They've been great at getting the first bloods. They have not been great about actually converting the rounds. We'll see if Boston can make amends.
Oh, let's see if John can find another one there because he's got eyes on those players still chilling out topside of church. But the defense now is going to hold this one down. It's a 3v2. Boston with a life lead. They managed to kill the player planting. Now John's down. That snipe gone. They've got no idea where Decimate is. He might be able to find a kill here, but he grabs that bomb and the jig is up.
For the 1v3, Desi is a player you look at to be able to clutch those or just get shot in the back. I think TJ might have heard the slide. Make no mistake, Desi is absolutely a dangerous player in those situations, but Boston taking care of business, and that was honestly just a super pick-heavy round, right? Capsidal gets the pick off the guy trying to go for the quick plant. He gets traded out, but then just players falling one by one by one. I think TJ was able to collect 2 kills that round. Methodz had a pick as well, but really nothing crazy about it. Just standard stuff. Beam people, utilize that low time to kill, and you'll be good to go.
Don't miss, don't lose. He's been doing the rounds right now in the COD community. But here we go, another round. TJ is going to be sniped now for Boston. Not a lot of players there, but that bomb's going to get real close towards the A bomb site. This could be a fun. There it is. We'll see now what Paris Legion does on the retake, being a man down.
Man, I mean, this is almost impossible on Tuscan again. Even when it's neutral, you saw the record 3 and 10 on bomb site retakes. Now you're the man down and make it 2. Temp can't win the gunfight. Pressure is all the way cranked up to try to be able to clutch this. And yeah, it is just players falling one by one. You see John getting a kill in the feed. So they know where he's at. 25 seconds, hunt him down. It does not make a difference. That is a clean and easy round. Boston dropping him.
Teaching with a sniper as well. They were chasing him at one point. Like all 3 of those arrows were like, nah, I'm getting it. This is the final kill though. John peeks out the window. He wanted fresh air. He got a bullet instead. There we go, Boston. Another good round. Get the bomb down fast, manage to reap the rewards of that hard work, and you know it comes down to a couple of sweet shots from Tej and decent pressure overall. Great stuff.
And honestly, I really do think that Methodz is the player to win him the round just for getting the first blood, right? You get the bomb down, you get that first kill to pick on a guy top church, like that almost assuredly is going to seal the deal. Paris, though, aggressive through the middle of the map. And this is 3 men going through B, so they're going to have to fast flank. And if you can get top broken control, you can actually, like, this is the one way to win on defense. They got the first blood.
The first blood, and Conga line now through the middle of the map. As Boston Breach have dealt a heavy hand fellow, I mean, you know those players are coming up. They're going to keep an eye on the top side of the map. He's now worried about his flank as well. I mean, things just got spicy indeed. Paris Legion, a man down, less than a minute to work with now. That bomb is still teetering towards A. Ooh. Shots out a fellow there, keeps TJ at bay. Now the plant comes through.
And you see they're going back, right? Again, just to try to get that top broken control, make sure you take care out of like all these clutch spot positions and Methodz. He's going to have to wait for his team. So you need to be able to coordinate. You see number 8, he's in top fire. It looks like they've isolated fellow potentially over towards Ivy. Methodz, the patience. He finds the pick. 4v2, actually, fellow. The swarm is there. They just drop him one by one like flies. And I like the confidence.
Yo, Capsidal was like, nah, John. Nah. He slid right in between his legs and gave him the gunny. That was new school versus old school, and Capsidal, not only did he come out on top, but he gave him some words as well. All right, Boston's starting to bring a little bit more heat. The spice meter's gone up by 1 chili here in the series, as Boston's starting to make things look a little dangerous.
And again, really just a perfect strat on defense, right? You push 3 men through P5, get that pick on the flank already. That just causes so many problems for the team on offense. And even after you give it the bomb plant, Methodz with the patience when he is the lone man, by the way, 4-0. He might be thinking about some kill streaks. They're taking care of business as TJ showing off the snipes. There's 1 looking for 2. Dashy get out with his life.
He does get out with his life, get some tags in these enemy players, but that's going to be another plant. Once again, Boston Breach know the play. Get the bomb down here at A, and it's Nero again. He's going to be out of here. Methodz with the coverage, still on that 4 spree. He'd love to make it 5. Capsidal wins another big fight. He seems to be unkillable in this series so far. As John, a little bit of parkour on the reposition. He's going to be hitting that flank for a while. We'll check back on him later, but Temp still trying to win the fight up front. And this is a 25 seconds on the clock, 2v4.
I mean, John was spending all that time just to go look for Capsidal, but now he's going to the fight. I mean, there's genuinely nothing you can do. You don't have the man advantage. You give up the bomb plant. That's almost it's just a wrap. So TJ, credit for the first blood, but Boston, they are just running the show, doing whatever they want on the map. I think 4 for 4 for first bloods. I don't know if Fellow has gotten a kill yet in this search and destroy, but Breach, I mean, this is just clean and easy work.
They're definitely putting in the work, man. I mean, this is what I worried about at the start of the series is, you know, you've given this team this exciting, explosive entry into the league. All that really matters, though, is how you finish it. So far, they are setting themselves up well. They've put in a lot of work. There are 3 donuts on Paris right now. Triple donuts. Boston have eliminated every single avenue of attack. They are taking everything away, and they are continuing to do it right now. John has got 2 kills. I'm pretty sure both those were snipes as well. The bomb's making an uncharacteristic push now towards B. Will this change things up? Desi's on the board. Here we go, Paris.
I mean, I'm glad they finally got a kill. And fun enough, they're actually over towards B. So much of like the retake stats that we have is just the typical bomb going down quickly over towards A. So interesting look at how Boston wants to try to retake this site. You see the stack. It's almost like controlled decimate. He's on one of the best headies in the game on the far right side. But Boston, they're going to be pushing through church.
Here comes Fellow. His opportunity now to get this big old kill. Here comes Nero. Shots are in. There's the kill. Fellow finds it. Gets out good. We've still got the numbers now. Methodz trying to level things up. 20 seconds. Tagged up. Backs up. Got Capsidal to help him out. Desi's on the flank, though. This could be the round closed out here, but Capsidal manages to poke a hole. There is an opening now. Able to get on the bomb? Maybe not. Here come the kills. Desi's flying. Fellow can't get the last one, and that's going to be the time set, but the kills are there from Paris Legion. They finally get on the board.
And honestly, just it's almost a control setup, right? You get the bomb down over towards B, get the man posted in the back heady. You had Fellow responsible for like the plat side of things. And I can't remember who it was for Boston, but someone was like top church, top radio, potentially looking for that push through P5, but ended up just giving it up. And Paris taking full advantage, taking that free bomb plant towards B. And I'd say both of these sites, not easy to retake after that bomb goes down. So Paris on the board. Admittedly, though, Temp still on a donut. Needs to get that first kill, get that ball rolling.
We'll see if it's Pringles. DJ with that snipe now. We haven't seen too much action out of him in this position. Desi with a nice name and a Methodz. We'll take that. DJ's patience, will it pay off? Now, he's a ring in. Nero, though, tries to find the entrance through bottom side church. Met with John, who gives him a certain kind of baptism there, right up front. And that's going to be a nice set of kills. That's going to be a 4-1.
And TJ, yeah, okay. Just gonna fall. Has the sniper, so I suppose you never know. But nice bounce back round. 2 in a row for Paris Legion. Nades on point that round. I mean, I think you get the first blood on Methodz with the nade. Even TJ gets back down to 4 HP. So even with the sniper, he basically gets snuffed out. Nothing he is able to accomplish. 2 in a row. Paris, they have some fight in them.
Win, lose, or draw, Fellow always adjusts his hair after every round. That's just what he does, man. We've all got our little things. Everyone has their moments. Donny Temp, his glasses back up the nose. Everyone has their readjustments, you know, get yourselves back into the game, back focused. And this is so far so good. Temp's been out here fast. The stun's going to count. A couple connects. Oh, Capsidal guns up already. Huge stuff. I like the ambition from Temp, but not quite enough to really get it done. The trades are on point, though, as now it's a 3v3, and Fellow is getting blown to smithereens up on top broken side. Here comes the counter through the door. Oh, no. Nero wins it. Desi had eyes on for so long, chance, but now it's a 1v3. John? No, it's over.
Whew. Back to that typical. Breach just looking dominant. Again, first blood's going their way. I will say the nades from Paris still good. I think they're able to coordinate, and Fellow gets credit for the kill, but it was just patience on the flank over towards P5. Nero just had the edge, even Capsidal for the first blood. I mean, it's a bullet difference in that gunfight between him and Temp, but we saw what Capsidal was bringing to the table in map number 1. He wins his ones.
He really does. That Bocage performance is now bleeding over into this Tuscan S&D. 7-5 for Capsidal. This is map point for Boston Breach. This is taking 2-0 up in the series. TJ, can he find something with that snipe?
And I think, Parrots, you can't let this bomb go down, by the way. Fight on the flank. I think Capsidal has the edge. 10 didn't even get the auto aim. And actually, the bomb gets taken down. So Dashy does find a big kill, but then Capsidal is killing everything else. And TJ finds the snipes. And John, oh, how bad it is to be in between 3 players. I mean, I was worried about the bomb going down. That's the one thing Paris could stop, and then everyone else just gets dominated. Boston Breach, 2 quick and easy map wins.
They were really looking clean. You know, it was like, again, it's the same thing with Paris. It's like when they win good rounds. When they lose, it seems to be a blowout. There's no in between right now. There's no close 1v1 engagements. It's a scream fest right now from Boston Breach. Clinical work out of them. Can't complain whatsoever. And there we go. That's 2-0 up in the series, 6-2 in the Search and Destroy. Control coming up next, Chance.
And I will say those first bloods, if you're looking at the data view, absolutely wild. I still don't know how that works, but I think at least by the head count, Boston, I believe, got 6 of the first bloods. I think twice Paris was able to get it, but first bloods, Boston was on point. If there was any concerns about them not clutching up their 4v3s, well, that was simply not the case. Again, just a dominant performance in both the first 2 maps.
Extremely dominant performance indeed. Boston Breach will continue to try to speedrun this series, or we see Paris Legion pull the comeback here on Control, map 3. More of that, though, when we come back after this break. The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Game Fuel. Victory in a can.
And he'll have some words for Crim 6.
Forcing the issue on the flank. He's inside of the face, and that's going to be 5 in a row.
There's 2, there's 3.
Well, Boston Breach have managed to break the firewall of Paris Legion, and right now they're going through all their personal details, including how to eviscerate them in 2 maps in a row. So far, so good for Boston Breach, but Paris Legion, it's about time we pull this one back going into control. Chance Boston Breach have had quite the, I want to say, the explosion on the scene so far.
And it's a very interesting series they've had as well, because I think the question for these guys is like, how good exactly are they going to end up being? Like, can they continue to improve? Can the young guys like settle in and start to fry? Because they already have 1 series win for stage 1 over LAG. If they get a dominant win over Paris, like, that's starting to like separate away from the middle of the pack potentially. And then later on, they have to play Atlanta, New York, and OpTic are their next 3 matches after this. So I think Boston, we will very quickly find out exactly how good they can be. But again, just getting those CDL points, trying to get on the winner's bracket once the major rolls around is a massive task. So Boston right now looking good. Paris 0-2 in stage 1. Admittedly, a game 5 against FaZe is always a nice thing to have in the back pocket, but certainly right now they are on the struggle bus. And again, I think if they lose here, it is incredibly likely they end up starting in losers, which is not the way you want to kick off your season.
No, but if anyone likes a challenge, it's definitely these 4 players. Everyone's been around the block a few times again. John, MVP world champion, he's done it. He's been there. He's had those moments, the glory, the absolute heartbreak. It's all happened. I don't doubt that these players can't pull this one back, but Kuavo control, we now go to map number 3, and over towards A as well we go now for Paris Legion. And how about them skins?
The skins are fantastic. I didn't even recognize that at first. I saw you mentioned the hard point, but
what do you mean?
Didn't actually get to see it. I'll take it. I will say, though, this might be the most interesting map of the series between these 2 teams. Neither one of them have played Tuscan Control, so it's only been Kuavo looks. Obviously, it's a defensive-heavy map. Defense wins the like 73% of the time or something absurd like that. But Boston Breach, funnily enough, they're 50-50. They win 50% of their offenses, which is fantastic, but then they only win 50% of their defenses, which is kind of horrible. And they have a 0.74 KD on defense. So Boston weirdly has struggled in that regard. It might just be one series where they get butchered on a round or 2 that sort of impacts those stats. But just something to keep in your mind is right now we're seeing Tyler Fellow, best slang performance he has had so far. Nice little 4-0 start.
If you can keep that 4-0 going, here comes the push. TJ will catch him out. Great stun coordination there. Less than 30 seconds to go, and Paris Legion got to get on the A site. They do. As the zone capture now begins. Nero, slow and steady forward he goes, looking to find these players, clear them on out, and Paris doing the dance of doom, the dipsy doodle. In and around they go on that point, as the A zone now back on the capture, 20.6 on the clock. TJ though, oh boy, detonate in hand, find an angle, find it, okay, gonna let that one go. Good coverage though once again, clock still now opens up, 15 seconds to go. Nero trying to keep these players off point still. Paris back on the objective. Progress now in that first segment, but here comes Nero. Yes, he wins it.
There's a big gunfight for Destiny to win as well, just to stop that clock. We talk about offense being a little bit tough to win these rounds. I think there's been like 11 total offense wins, maybe 12, something like that. Every single one of them, except for 1, has been done off of kills. So we're basically playing team deathmatch. It is hard to actually play the objective, and right now they are slaying. Fellow and Desi both able to pick up 2. Got a 3-life lead, and again, slowly capping this is fine. You're gonna have 1:10 on the clock. And honestly, I don't even know if that's enough time to really do it on kills. They need to find a way to get to B just to stop the time.
Yep. Just about a minute to work with now. Lives in the favor of Paris Legion, but only by 3. Sorry, 2. Change again. There you go. Still, any opportunity now to make their way forward is going to be great. You can see that defensive line now from Boston worked out. Methodz over by the rocks. Capsidal by the AA gun up top. And they've got all lanes covered now. Paris is going to take a couple of picks. Temp's going to be the first one to open up something now. There's an opening. There is a hole in the Boston Breach defense now. Spawns are going to get a bit squirrely, a bit weird, and they are bullying Nero. He's getting pounded now on the inside of his spawn. How close can you get, Paris? You got to keep finding these kills. 30 seconds. And it's 14-11 in the life count.
Hey, they're looking for Nero. I mean, that's 3 spawn kills in a row. Nero just falling. But at the same time, if you're not on the B point, not stopping this clock, Boston has way too many lives. So Nero dying over and over, honestly, isn't even that massive a concern. You have to get towards B. Nero falls again, and TJ somehow, some way, kills himself or blows up, and Paris will take that. They get to the point. There's only 13 seconds left. Boston, if you have just one clean retake, you should be good to go, and that's a nade to start it.
That's a sweet nade. Gets it going with a bang. Fellow, though, still keeping the point safe. First segment gone at B, 11.2 on the clock, 6 lives. The Boston Breach, Fellow's trying to make it 5. And there's a bit of help, though. John finds 1, up close and personal. TJ, clock's opened up. 5 seconds now. Push, boys, push. 5 lives for the Breach, 8 for Paris Legion. Any kills are good. If you can get on the point, even better. And Temp, last ditch, doesn't get it. Brilliant stuff out of Boston Breach. They managed to save that round. And chance the life count, though, still very close.
I mean, close, yes. And again, that is Boston once again, even on defense, being outslayed, which is maybe long-term not a happy dynamic. But as far as that round goes, Paris just too slow. I mean, Nero has enough time to spawn up and get killed 3 times before they actually go and approach B. You also get given the gift of TJ again, I'm assuming exploding to a red barrel or whatever it was up towards P1. And in spite of that, a little bit too slow to actually get over towards B. And just don't have enough time to work with in spite of the slang. So Boston will take it up 1-0. And now they're on the attack where, again, they win 50% of their offensive rounds. So Boston, solid on this side.
TJHaly with the first blood. Nero's going to clean up. Bottom side of the ship's all good. Capsidal's chilling out on the top deck. There's no one to be found here, so he's going to redirect his efforts forward now, trying to find the lifeline of Paris Legion and cut him out. The kills all working out now for Boston Breach on offense. The defending looks, though, so far Paris Legion aren't the greatest, but ample time to get this one done. Over to Fellow now. Big kill on the first here of the round for him.
You see Boston again, just because Capsidal's in this position, like, you like the positioning, but Capsidal is going to fall, and they actually didn't really stop almost any of that time. So there's already just 43 seconds left on the game clock, but DJ now, by the way, he's having a fantastic game, 15-5. That's actually kind of nuts. 15 in like a round and a half. Yeah, that's absurd.
He had a really good first round. And now capturing A. First segment cleaned up. Second now, they're starting to work away with that one. 21 lives for Paris Legion remaining here on defense. And they stop the clock at 43. So again, decent time to be had as Methodz gets cut down. Back over to TJ on the inside here. He's still holding the defense solid. And Temp, he's finding those kills as best he can, but it's not easy to break on inside this ship chance. They're going to keep finding an opening, and there's it for John. Manages to get in there. Clock now opens back up. Nero flying in towards John, trying to desperately get back onto that point, but he's holding this now alone. Dashy has the other side of the ship covered, but John's got to go big. First kill's good, draining the segment at A. 30 seconds left.
And that's a big gunfight for him to win. He's got a couple more. Number 5 steps inside. He wins the next. Next player down low is going for the hunt. John makes the read, and John takes him down. The bounce back force spree, potentially to win this one on defense. You see Boston, only 15 seconds left on the game clock. They're nearby towards A, but it is tough on this hill to stay alive.
Here we go, final 10 seconds. Boston Breach trying to get on point, and they should be able to. Nero, 6.7, stops it. Here comes the flood from Paris Legion, looking to win it right here with this play. Capsidal hold the line down, finds the kills. He gets himself 2, and that's going to keep the play going. They capture A minute to work with on the clock, and 16 lives to attack with.
Similar to what we saw last round, right? It is a small life lead for the team on offense, but not a ton of time to work with. I mean, again, you just have to find a way to get on this point and stop the clock. You know, even when you get to that tank, you're just going to be getting bombarded by nades. So you almost want to be able to set up 2 pushes, and right now it looks like they're waiting for number 6, Methodz, to go for this full flank, and the other 3 coming from P1.
Yep, the P1 hit now. He's waiting for Methodz to make some noise. But TJ, he's going to get his boots all sandy. He's going to be the one making the play now. 40 goes under the covering fire of the squad. Fellow at the back can't get it. Fellow wins 2 big ones. Clock still ticking. Methodz now coming in from behind, and it's going to be a close range fight on the site. Oh my God, Fellow and Temp managed to find the kills. Temp backs on up. You get a few more. Boston have got another chance in this round to still make a hit, but here comes the hold from Paris Legion. 15 seconds to go. 8 lives for Legion to work with, and they're putting themselves in every position possible to try to slow down the hit. It's going to be TJ on the flank, and here he comes. A big win. 5 seconds. Anyone able to get close? Yes! They're going to contest it. Who's that on the inside of the boat? It's Temp. He wins the fight. You've got to get on the point. It's Temp won it. 1.4. Oh my God, he kills him. Paris Legion, you've got to go. Get TJ off it. Oh my word. Temp holds it down. And the kills come through in the final seconds. And my chance, what a round of control.
I mean, it's the exact same thing from round one, though, right? It is the team on offense putting in the work, but just a little bit too tough with that little time on the clock. And I think, honestly, we were been a bit harsh on Fellow, right? His KD hasn't been the best. The slang has not always been there. He picks up some massive kills on the defensive end. Like, once that big push is coming with the 3 players stacked up from P1, making their approach to the hill, he wins 3 big ones in a row just to sort of save his team. And 16-11 from Fellow, not too shabby for what has been 2 very close rounds. And once again, when I'm looking for Boston on defense, is just to pick up the slang. TJ, the man that has 22 kills in 2 rounds, is the man to do it. But also, TJ loves the heat check, so he's going to fall to the AR in that long-range gunfight.
Dude, that is the TJ special, man. He's always doing that. He makes the right play, and he's like, I'm challenged. Anyway, Fellow. Nice work out of Temp. Does get the kill there on the red barrel explosion down by the dockside. Fellow from up high still flying out. We're going to clean this up now as Paris Legion. They leave their plate clean. Everything gets eaten up. Now you have to contend with the push. And Nero down. What a win that was. Fellow, very unfortunate timing on the ADS. This is going to be the approach now for the defending team over towards the bottom side of the ship. A zone first segment gone. Temp's got the top side covered. Looks good still for Paris Legion.
And Temp, honestly, this is what he lives for on this map. I mean, funnily enough, Temp has the #1 overall KD. Temp is #1 in non-traded kills in control. Or sorry, #3 in KD, #1 in non-traded, and then #1 in damage per life. So Temp puts in the work. And honestly, Paris on this map has been pretty solid. And right now, they're trying to string together another round where there is potential on offense. A tick and a half of progress over towards A. Not a lot of map control, though, and you see Nero's making moves, but he's double negative, so this is a man that needs to step it up. Winning the gunfight on Fellow, excuse me, certainly nice. Can't quite get the second, as it is scrappiness over towards A.
RIP Pharaoh. Flying on towards A. Still, Boston finally get themselves in there. 13 seconds now and counting. Paris Legion got to go on this one. 10 with a sweet 2. Oh, baby. Nearly finds the 3rd on the Nero. There's the grabs. 10.1 on point. Second segment's going to be gone here. Progress still working out as the 2-man stack comes through. That gives Boston a sense of urgency. Have to get this one going. They managed to kill 1. The clock opens up. Great nades. Temp now flying through. Has to win the fight. Does. Brought down again. It's a foot race now. Flying it up towards the zone. Go, boys, go. Dashy wins 1. Brought down immediately. Trades on trades on trades. And the cleanup crew is there. Boston managed to win it out in the dying seconds. They are now on match point.
And that's honestly all that is. I mean, that is almost just a 50-50 round the whole way through. Neither team able to get set up with a ton of map control. The spawn kills never really kick in. It is just a battle around that A site, and the double nades that occur towards the end. Make sure you just soften it up just enough to strip it away. So that'll be Boston, as the defenses have been on point, going up 2-1. And again, we sort of talked about the stats, right? Temp, I mean, he's been phenomenal in damage, non-traded kills the whole way through. John and Decimate also has been on point in control. They've won 88% of their rounds on defense on this map. They need 1 more just to force the game 5. And obviously, if you want the defense for the round 5, you need to make sure you outslay.
You got to find them sweet, sweet kills. And so far, Nero, he's the one doing it. And TJ, he's got murder on his mind. He's going in. And Desi, good job. Teacher was looking aggressive there, and that was a clean kill. Pushes him back, slows him right down. Desi now trying to find the opening on him towards the point. And backing him up on the outside there of the boat. Good angle on a Nero. In we go. Here comes the play. Paris trying to get these players off the boat ASAP. Finding those kills. Top deck control now for Desi. Can't win the fight. That's going to be another good kill now from Boston. TJ back into the ring. He's going to find the space now to work out over towards that A zone, and they're going to find them kills, clean them all up. There's only 1 left here. This should be an A zone capture for Boston Breach.
Not quite yet. Well, okay, there you go.
Okay.
Desi falls as well, so you still get the 1-man on point. It looks like they have the clearance. Bara, hero play, but no, it's still open. Oh. Yeah, Capsidal's going to fall. It is ARs filling up the feed as Paris being solid on defense. Men inside the hill just not able to stay alive. And now you got #3 Temp set up. He might have the full trap. TJ, though, of course, it's TJ. Man's got 31 kills. Very early on, he takes him down, and Boston, they are flooding through the cliffside once again, trying to go towards that.
And that should be it. Surely now. There's no way the Paris do it again with a clean 3 down. Here comes the push. Fellow finds 1. John's going to be here to back him up, finding kills. Oh, they've done it again. The clock's still ticking. Paris, not out of this yet. Capsidal from up high. John brings him down again. And you're running out of time now. Boston Breach, get the play going. Find your way desperately on towards this A site. Methodz now making the sneaky play over towards B. Temp's made the reads. He'd make the push. Oh, Temp kills him. But with that, the A zone will be cleaned up. Finally, we will see an opportunity now for Boston Breach to keep this play going. And I love the looks from Zinni, but it's not quite enough. And there is a bit of discord here. There it is. TJ cuts down one member of Paris, making his way over towards that spawn side of the map. TJ on a 4 spree now, looking absolutely disgusting chance. Less than a minute to go, and they're capping B.
I didn't see, how did Nero even just get there? They was left open on the flank. And TJ's picking up a ton of kills over towards P1, but bad news for Nero, he is completely by himself, and his team, well, yeah, nowhere to be found. He just gets dropped immediately. That was a very small window of opportunity. Paris, though, clutching up, making sure nothing gets rid of him. Capsidal, that's a very high boat. That's like 50 feet. He tried to make that jump.
He might have been hit by like 1 bullet, and then he took to the skies. Flew a little too close to the sun this time round, but we'll see. With less than 40 seconds now to be worked with. Can Boston Breach do the unthinkable? Flying on forward. Kills now going back and forth. They've got the numbers now to work out with. It's all on John. Holding the line for the time being. Good pinch now coming through. That's going to be a couple of clean kills. But once again, John v Nero on the B zone. Here come the shots through. John wins it. Methodz can only sit back and watch as his teammates get brought down. 6 lives aside. 20 seconds to work with. The final push starts now, Chance.
If you can stop the clock, you can pull this off. 6v5 is basically no respawns remaining almost for either team, but 10 seconds. And I mean, just look at the map pressure. It's number 6, number 8, Methodz and Nero. They're going to have to fly. Nero gets traded. Methodz has to be the hero for the team if you want to win this round, but it's all the best headies in the game. He gets taken care of, and Paris clutch up on defense once again. I will say these rounds have been much closer than we are used to seeing on this map. The teams on offense stringing together some success, but again, a ton of key gunfights won. I'm thinking about that 1v1 Methodz had against Temp, where Temp wins it once the A actually got captured. I mean, if Methodz wins that gunfight in that moment, I mean, who knows how that round progresses, but Paris, again, solid on defense. But I don't know if it's enough to actually get defense for the round 5. For Paris, it is. So advantage for them for the round 5. But again, Boston has been clean on offense. This is still a dangerous team. You can't take the foot off the gas.
No, you cannot. aBeZy, though, with the defense. We'll see if they can make it work. These offensive rounds looking thinner and thinner. Sorry, the defensive rounds looking thinner and thinner as the league progresses. Fellow on the back. 1v1 now against Methodz. This is going to be a big win for Fellow and the team. Again, if they can keep those kills flowing, and they do indeed. Fellow, great awareness, knows that players coming out of spawn. TJ, though, good crossfire, reams him. Temp over by the zone, trying to find these shots, trying to find the damage and hold it down. 1 minute now to play with, and oh baby, Paris have come to play. They're starting to look a little bit more dangerous. They found that renewed sense of purpose here in the final round. Can they hold Boston back?
I think they might be able to. They have just so much map pressure. You get John around the boat, you get number 3 on the map, Temp. He can just cut the whole thing off, and you got P1 pressure. So this is not a fun setup. It's not quite the spawn trap, but it's not far from it. Paris again, just gold map control. Capsidal has to win these gunfights. He's gonna fall as Temp is there for 2. And again, Paris, they just have him trapped in. They're funneling through the cliffside. Only 30 seconds left, and that's just to capture A. Whew. Paris on defense. They have been too clean this round.
Temp lay prone there and managed to take less damage than, of course, running Flak Jacket. Whatever it is in this game, I've already forgotten. But there we go. Nice job staying alive. 4-5, staying alive. Great stuff out of Donnie Temp on the 4 spree. Here comes another. Tags are in. Cap's going to chow this, surely. The rest of the team's here, but Donnie Temp slow and steady. Oh my god, Cap still just chills in the corner and gets it. 16.3 on the clock. 1 segment gone over by A, and Boston Breach have managed to get themselves in. A foothold now. Will Paris invest the lives to try to take back the point?
Well, it is a point that almost never gets stacked. You see, well, Paris winning the gunfights on defense. There's the 3rd. You talk about kills that you have to get if you're on Boston. Can't find a single one, and someone's got to pop off. I mean, you're getting flanked. You don't have P1 control. You're getting shot in the back, shot from top boat. Nero looking for John. He finds him for the next kill. And he gets the 2nd one as well, so it is not over yet. But the problem is, you capture A. This is not a lot of time. 1:09 on the clock, and you only have 11 lives to work with. This is a very tough situation for Boston. You have to play damn near perfectly. 1 good 4-man wipe, something along those lines. And you get time to maybe set up 1 clean push to make this happen. TJ, 42 kills, working his way around back. There's 43.
43. Almost. The back now safe. The front is where the fight will come now for Paris Legion. Boston circling, trying to find the opening. Nero, the cutoff. Good shots. Is he finding a couple more? Now the push from the front side chance. Boston Breach have got another opportunity to get this done.
I mean, I don't even know if I call this an opportunity. 22 seconds, you almost have to flood. You see number 5, Capsidal. He's going to be the man going on the flank to try to find an opening. Number 8 trying to go through that like secondary cut, but you have to time the pushes perfectly. And Fellow, meanwhile, he's finding picks along the way. Situation where you just need the hero play. Nero might be that guy. He's found the opening. Methodz finds 2, but he can't get towards the hill. Capsidal on the flank stops the clock. There's 5 seconds left on game time. Boston, they only have 1 extra life.
Here we go. John cooks it like cat. Not as tasty. Oh, he's brought down my Methodz as well. 5 seconds on the clock. It's a very slow capture. There's no lives left now for Boston. Oh no, they're flying in. 2 lives remaining. 1's up close on point. That's Capsidal. 1's coming in off spawn. Dashy's gonna fly forward and try and just execute him. There's gonna be the crossfire. That's gonna be the round. Paris Legion have sealed the deal here. And oh baby, it was a close one. A chin scratcher at best there for Boston Breach. But we are gonna see another hard point.
And I think you saw in the face cams, right? Capsidal maybe just a little bit stressed out. He did not have a fun time on Gavutu, which is very typical. SMGs on this map will absolutely struggle from time to time, but that is in spite of the fact that TJ threw up 44 kills on board. There was simply one man just lagging a little bit too far behind. Boston couldn't quite find that rhythm. And of course, well, if you end up on offense for the round 5, it just be like that sometimes. And funnily enough, TJ, credit, 44 total kills, 52 kills on offense, because just, you know, the right side doesn't make any sense.
I'm thinking assists are counted there as well, but you might put in a lot of work, that is for damn sure. Look at the highlights now, as it certainly was a back and forth between these 2 teams. Gavutu control. It's been fun to watch, man. There's no doubt about it. It's been spicy as hell. I will say, I think I prefer Tuscan, but we are getting the close finishes for sure. I think that first Paris round win, again, it was a defensive one for them. It came down to the final seconds, and this was it. Really does come down to a moment or two, and I mean, I'm more than anything very impressed either side. Everyone looking strong so far, and 44 out of TJ for the L. It stings, but it is a very, very good sign for how well Boston can slay out here on Gavutu.
So I think Paris, again, just happy for the defense on the round 5, right? Their defenses have been on point. They are basically neck and neck with Seattle in terms of like winning your rounds on defense. They came into it with like 88% of the times they get the win. After that, they're going to jump up to like maybe 93, 94. So their defense, Paris can absolutely fry. And in spite of the fact they've only won like 17% of their offensive rounds, they didn't need it, Miles. They didn't need it at all. Took care of business, Paris locking it down, and maybe trying to start that reverse sweep, because obviously the first 2 maps, they were not having a good time.
They were not good maps at all for Paris, but everything looking good so far. That was a wonderful rebound here on Gavutu. And again, as far as the fans at home are concerned, I mean, my pick'ems looking across the board, that ain't bad. We're keeping it together. There's still an opportunity to turn this around. I won't be spoiling the results, but oh baby, it could be a spicy one indeed. Now we get to the Berlin side of the series. A double dose here in the hardpoint and the search and destroy if we have to go to game 5. Now, if we do have to go to the search and destroy, the way it looked on Tuscan, not a good look there for Paris Legion. And 250 to 155, not an ideal look on Bocage, but chance again, Berlin is a very, very different map. We talked about this before, not as heavy on the slays. Rotations do favor, you know, the time favors the team who rotates more. So good luck for Paris. This actually could be a game 5, genuinely.
I mean, you simply never know. I think, again, it's even too early to have enough data on both these teams to make a convincing call. So we'll certainly see. And speaking of Berlin as a hard point, it is like a surprisingly mixy map. And there's honestly even some hills where the rotations don't matter as much. I think P4 on Berlin, it is 50-50 on the team rotating, actually being able to outscore their opponent, which is to say, also when you out-rotate, 50% chance you just don't. So P4, one of the most unique hills we have in the game as far as Berlin goes. But outside of that, yes, rotations absolutely do matter. Again, very big map, incredibly different look from Bocage. I will say, though, Berlin, it is mixier than expected.
Oh, you can never doubt any map in this game to not be mixy. This is a quick look at our hardpoint match metrics coming into this series. This does not include the very first Bocage we saw their chance. And Boston Breach, they got them diamond hands, baby, 80% hold rate.
So again, the hold's on point. Maybe P4 again, potentially the exception. But outside of that, yes, you want to get to these hills nice and early. You want to get there first. So at least by the looks of it, if Paris Legion, that 15% break rate, which they did not really change those numbers on the Bocage, this very looks to be, yes, if Boston is winning rotations, they're going to be having a field day on Berlin. So I think Paris, honestly, if they could just be a little bit better, like on Bocage, they were winning the rotation like 80% of the time. They just couldn't hold the kills or hills to save their lives. So I think that is truly the battle. It is a rotation game we'll be having on map 4.
And we can go back and watch that Bocage and watch like every single hardpoint rotate. It's like Dashy gets there, he gets shot in the back. Someone's not even someone there before him. Like every single time you get there, he's getting dropped out. So like it's all good and well managing to get there in the right time. But if you get there just a second early, second late, whatever it is, you get that bad card timing and you get dropped, that rotation is all for naught. And then your boys, you're going to be spawning over by your teammates fighting because of the sticky squad spawns in this game, as opposed to somewhere where you can maybe make a sneaky play on another point. That being said, Berlin could be a very, very different look as we now roam into this one, map 4 of our opening series of the day. And this should be fun, man. I mean, I'm loving what we're seeing about Berlin. Berlin's hardpoints have been cool to watch. Tuscan the same. This game is absolutely frantic and furious at the best of times. As our Berlin hardpoint now, map number 4. Let's get it.
And we will have Berlin S&D for map 5 if we actually get there, so potentially the back-to-back on the map. But I will say, especially so for Paris, I am just going to be laser focused on Fellow to step it up and have, he doesn't even have to dominate this game, but a solid performance. You can't afford to have your main IR getting outslayed, especially not when Capsidal, maybe not into the control, but in the hard point, fried. TJ has been frying, so got to make sure you shut those two down, or else Berlin might just go like map number 1 did.
Yeah, Boston's opening pace was real nice. We'll see if they can keep that one going. But Paris with the opening time hit. And TJ simply does not care. No fleurs were given as TJ rolls his way into the point. Dashy now on the counter-attack. This could be sweet. There's one. Methodz peekaboo finds 2. Decimate, lovely shots.
He's waiting for his team as well. He ended up flipping those spawns a little bit early on. No one pushes the back. They're trying to set up for the team push on the hill. Not winning those first gunfights, and again, that is a hold situation, right? Paris gets to the hill first, but not actually able to hold it, and Boston end up winning this hill fairly handily. 20-second lead potentially at the end of it.
Ooh.
Temp wants to make a play, but there's 2 players there. They catch him, so that is a very strong P1 just for Boston to start the game. And even on the rotation, Nero already softening up the hold for Paris, who technically win the rotation, but the hill pops it. They all instantly get slayed.
Again,
Boston, oh so fast how they get there.
They get there so fast, they find them kills, trades there on point. So that means the mail room is completely unattended for now. You ring that bell all you want at the main desk, but no one's coming just yet. Fellow finally gets himself onto the point. Boston breach now still working on holding that lead, but it ain't going so good as the kills, all 4 come through. Already looking at the rotation for Boston, that's going to be Captain Methodz. But for now, there's 30 seconds remaining on this point. It could get good for Paris Legion. Nice kill out of Temp, finds himself on a 3 spree.
That's a huge play. He gets his teammate to spawn there as well. So this is 20 seconds to scrap, which you see Methodz actually wins it. So that is a bit of an exchange. You put so much pressure on the rotation, you might end up giving up a little bit of time, but that just means we get to see if it's worth it. And honestly, I think for Temp, it's certainly going to be. So many kills they're able to collect as Dashy was roaming towards docks, but this is the case, right? 18-point difference between these 2 teams. Paris right now, they have the spawns. This is a money hill. Can they run it up?
Dashy's trying to find these players in mid, and again, he loves to play the sort of like forward position where his teammates are on point. 5 in a row now. One more's going to net himself the strafing run. Over by the point, his teammates are holding this one down. Nero's going to find those kills. Dashy just gets a little bit of a tickle in, so when he does manage to make it to the point, he's already hurt. His teammates are spawning good on the dock side. They should still be able to contest this point, but that is a nice bit of work out of Boston breach. That's 3 dead. They're going to find those kills, and they're going to net themselves a decent chunk of this final 30 seconds remaining on this point.
That's yeah, honestly a little bit tragic, right? Dasy's thinking about the kill streaks, but the players end up getting into fire, and well, you give up fire control, it makes it that much easier to actually break inside the hill, and no one for Paris is really winning the gunfight. So another situation where Paris get there first. They put that investment to win the rotation, and they don't even win the hill. It was an 18-point gap going into it, and Boston just bump up the lead. And this is why I talked about P4 on Berlin earlier on. This is one of the hardest hills that even if you out-rotate to actually be able to hold. So Paris, another opportunity to try to make something happen, but this is a tough hill to do it on.
And they're making it happen so far. Clean 3. One player managing to make his way through the side of the trains is going to get cut up. And Capsidal now looking to find that hole his teammates have punched open. Closer towards the point he goes. Temp, shots are on. He's going to find the kills as Capsidal still doing the best work he possibly can. You've only got one member now of Paris Legion holding from the back. They've still got close spawns. Let's go for a quick listen with the Paris Legion and see how they hold it.
He's going outer, absolute. Zinni.
I'm flanking people right now.
Alright, what's the time?
Outer box, I need you outer.
Cap weak.
He's in.
Deep outer left.
Yeah, P5 down.
He's already deep heading.
I hear you. I'm looking for him. I don't see him.
P5 weak.
I just got timing on him.
He went back up. P5 went back up to
Watch that
library.
hill, TJ. No,
I'm nading it.
Let's still give you library. Alright, we'll give you library. You be down
Nero back
there.
up. Nero.
Yeah, I'm going S2.
You be S3.
It was Nero.
Alright, they're gonna have P4 side. Let's try to
No, he's
get there.
S3 Nero. Yes.
Him was only deep.
P5, TJ. Yep, S3 Nero.
S3 Nero, yeah.
Gotta go for this guy, fellas.
Where's that guy?
One's on old.
This guy's still S3.
Yep. Where's the guy at old at?
The one should be dots. That was dots. He's far right. He's
Pushing his
He
guy.
went in the train, cap.
Mid-hole windows.
I'm playing dead.
Hall windows, TJ, careful.
Oh, window, one shot.
Yeah, I'm
One in fire, one
He
curse.
just absolute pushing out P4.
Two
was weak as fuck.
That's one,
P4,
TJ.
I can help you in time.
He's hitting me.
Another three went in time.
He went top 3.
TJ is P4, one shot, absolute. TJ P4.
Alright, what's top 3 too? Nate Hill.
John Nate Hill. One was
Come
curve
right.
tank.
He was
Zinni.
P4,
He
TJ
was
was
curve
on
tank.
left.
TJ just pushed on my left, bro. I got naded.
Dunk curve tank.
Get aside together.
Oh, he's on the dots looking for you at the tank.
I'm nading time.
He's in. He's one shot dots, bro.
Left side, Tom.
Alright, let's go left. Come left.
He's train stairs. And we can time by with a nade.
I'm dead.
It was Capsidal left
One's
side.
still outer. He's still
I'm
outer.
wrapping deep left. I'm wrapping your deep
Outer
left.
one in there, I think. Outer one in there, I think.
Inner Teach. TJ one shot got him.
Zinni's out of the play, far right. He's far right somewhere.
As far as the comms go, Chance, it doesn't matter. Boston breach. They've done a wonderful job here in Berlin for the last few points.
And the comms honestly slightly off, right? Even at the start of the hill, they're calling out of like their spawning P4 side. I'm looking at the mini-map, and it was not the case. Someone from Boston able to get towards the left side of the map and flip those spawns. And Boston really took their time of making sure that nothing slips out so they can rotate over clean and easy towards P1. They've been on point, playing this incredibly well. And first 20 seconds have gone by this hill uncontested. Finally gets Mixy, and Dashy picks up 2 for Paris to break inside. But I mean, again, you're down by 70 points after the first set of rotations. Paris, I mean, just captains of the struggle bus.
We'll see, though, if they can't steer the struggle bus to success. And oh my, Capsidal just hit the flank. Fellow wins big, stays alive. Love that, and that's going to be a final 15 seconds scrap time that I don't think anyone in Boston's going to fight over. They're definitely looking towards next, and this is it. Nero, atop the mailroom he stands, delivers the bad news to John that he's got the spot on him already. But this is good, though. You are going to see Paris Legion cross over 100 points. The counterattack now over towards P2. Let's see how it goes, because for now, Chance, you need to see Paris go big.
Well, Paris, you saw Decimate over towards Dots. He was trying to make the play, but Boston take their time and hunt him down. Nero is here playing for the kills. And while never mind, gets eviscerated. John killing in a bullet, it looks like, but does get dropped, and the teamwork on point for Boston. Paris may be doing a little bit of a dent over towards P1 to try to make up for the point deficit, but now they are back to square one, down by about 60 points. They're going for a strong push, and honestly, this might be an opportunity for a player for Boston to sort of sneak out and try to flip those spawns, but if that's not the case, you at least get the time. They clear out the house, and those final 20 seconds going to be going their way. Boston continually just extending their lead.
Yeah, they just had Paris Legion in the full Nelson the whole time there. They weren't going to let him go. Gonna just slam him. I'm to the next point now. 10 seconds remaining in this one. Boston with a full time. Over towards fire. A decent hard point there from Paris Legion on our first set. We'll see if they can't do it again. Temp just got absolutely smoked by Capsidal. That was disgusting. I'm not sure if it was weak or not, but great reads out of Capsidal. Big position now to be flying forward, dealing the damage left, right, and center. Now to the point they go. You've got Boston now, one advance at a time. The right-hand side's all theirs. Here comes the approach from the left. They've got all avenues covered. Chance. This could be a very clean break. Let's see how it goes. Capsidal through the front window. That's going to be the kills. There's one Paris player left, and that is a break and a half. Oh no, he does win it.
I mean, that clinical work. Honestly, Paris, they almost never seemingly have fire control on this hill, and you see Capsidal just causing all sorts of problems from that position. Nero's the guy that was blocking the dock spawn, and it doesn't look like Boston necessarily able to get a massive amount of time, and even Paris fighting for it, and they're going to get the scrap. So this ends up turning it out into a decent situation from Paris. It could have been so much worse, and honestly, now they're set up for this P4 rotation once again, because you see Boston, they're still spawning at all. They are so far away. The potential for the comeback is still here, but obviously we talked about this hill before. It is not easy to hold in the slightest. Paris have to go big.
Here we go. Rain yards up. Paris now holding it down. Fellow is going to eat all sorts of things thrown his way as the man on the front. Capsidal does manage to get off the point, and just like that, it's 2 dead, 3 dead now. It's going to come down to John, his MP40 on the left-hand side. Capsidal reads it, guns him. Boston breach. Oh, baby! They're flying forward. The kills will keep coming through. Mid-map now's the only option Paris Legion have got as they spawn further and further away from the point. No one's on it just yet. There's 30 seconds to go, but Boston, they've broken in. Can they secure a bit of time now?
Honestly, I mean, that's just Boston highlighting why even rotating this hill isn't always the best thing in the world for you, because there's basically one spot for cover to play inside the point. They just rain nades down on that guy, and after that, it is just clean and easy kills for Boston. Putting in some serious work on this hill, accrued a very strong lead. And look at number 7 on the minimap, by the way. Staying active on the map. We're going back to P5. Again, Boston was very smart about trying to lock down these left sides. And now TJ, he's collecting the kills. He's over towards Fire. An absolute thorn in their side. Meanwhile, Nero, it is his turn for Breach to have the pop-off game. 31 kills for him as Breach just doing their victory lap. They will almost certainly come away with the victory.
It's almost over now for Paris Legion. It's got to be perfect hardpoint gameplay from this moment on, quite frankly, friends, and it's not going to be easy, but if anyone can get it done, Tem, he's trying to lead that charge. 10 for the win now for Boston Breach. Is anyone there to try to get anything out of this one? Stop the push. 5 seconds now to go. Tem's going to be there, cut down. The kills keep on flowing, and Boston Breach with a very solid victory over Paris Legion. In the end, it's a 3-1.
And you hear the good jobs, good stuff the whole way around. Honestly, that was a super efficient series. If you're a Boston Breach fan, I mean, that's about as good as it gets. Yes, you end up losing on the Gavutu, but you fight pretty hard, even on the offenses. And outside of that, almost outright dominance. Smart plays across the board, working together as a team. You have a pop-off game in game number 1 from Capsidal. You get the pop-off game from Nero in the final hardpoint, and then TJ was the fry man on Gavutu. I mean, that is genuinely as good as it gets. A fantastic look for Breach, who now, as far as stage 1 goes, they are 2-0. Took down LAG, took down Paris, and after this, they get Atlanta, New York, and then OpTic. So I think we're just going to see them tested again and again. But honestly, with a performance like this today, I'm a bit of a believer.
I've got to say it, man. I mean, they handled them extremely well on the hard point in the search. There's no doubt about it in my mind that, you know, they're a cut above right now, and Boston Breach, all the concerns we had coming forward, will they improve? Will they genuinely put the talent on this roster to good work? And so far, the answer is hell yeah. They're looking fine. You cannot be disappointed with these performances. Again, in and out, you name it. Teamwork was on point. I mean, there's signs of life for Paris, sure, but I mean, there's just non-stop action out of Boston Breach, man. I mean, their teamwork's looking fantastic. The gunny, again, Capsidal, you can just watch his POV all day. He is absolutely disgusting at Vanguard.
Also has a very intense face when he's in the middle of the game.
Oh my God, man, he's in.
Is, focused and ready to go. Oh, dear God. But again, clean and efficient work for Boston Breach. The hard points, he might not be 100-point clubbing Paris, but on some of these maps, it's just about the same thing. I mean, a 100-point win is a massive amount. Dominant in the search and destroy. They get all the first bloods they want. You genuinely cannot ask for anything more.
Beautiful stuff. 3-1 there, the final score. That's all for our first series of the day. And Desk, I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
Thank you so much, Miles. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Analyst Desk. Of course, my name is Veli, rocking the mic with Nameless and aLLeY. But, Chance, Miles, that was a crazy game. But let's talk about it. Boston are looking good so far, undefeated in this CDL.
Yeah, and their hardpoint looks absolutely spectacular, man.
Yeah.
They're having different players pop off on every single map. We heard Chance talking about it. But the setup that they just had on P5, just pinning them into that back trains area was absolutely disgusting. We've seen them breaking hills multiple times. The teamwork was there. Everybody's playing their role to perfection when it comes to the respawn.
And the kill feed was just disgusting. It was about like 10 straight kills overall. That's nasty, by the way. But aLLeY, when it came to Paris, other than that one map when they had, what seemed to be their only hope at the moment, because they were getting slaughtered in respawn?
I think they need. I don't think this roster works well together. I said that from from the beginning, they were at the bottom of everyone's power rankings.
Yeah.
And individually, we saw them go up against Atlanta FaZe, and they showed a little bit light of hope. But I just don't see this team successing long term. These are all veteran players, and I just don't think they mesh well together.
Yeah, it seems like the chemistry is off at times, and when players like Big Cap go into the mix, I mean, you saw him go crazy as well. He had multiple maps where he had crazy streaks. He was the guy that flew under the radar that you spoke about during the Kickoff Classic, and now he's one of the brightest players on the whole stage in that lobby.
It's been the aggression out of these Challengers players. For all these teams that's finding so much success this early in the season, it's been the Challengers team. It's been all about these new, younger players and just dominating over the map. Cap from map 1 had taken over the series. I believe Methodz at one point was like 1-7. He had a little bit of a slow start, and then they heated up middle of the game, and that's when we really saw the series just take off for Boston Breach.
Yes, and speaking about Boston Breach now, Methodz was tearing things up when it came to hardpoint.
Likewise.
I mean, as an OG player, man, he just knows where players are going to be, and his IQ was up there.
I mean, if you saw on that P4 that we were just talking about, or P5, excuse me, where they had them locked into back trains, when it rotated back over to P1, he was inside of train's lobby just holding them in. Like, he was playing fantastic on that Berlin, doing exactly what you need to do as a main AR. So, like, even though Methodz, his stats might not always be insane, like, he's doing his job to perfection. He's also the in-game leader, so I like what I'm seeing out of him and the improvements that he's made since the last couple of years.
Go ahead, aBeZy.
Well, and the thing I got off of that is actually in the respawn sometimes there were little mistakes. Very, you know, gloss over. They managed to fix them up. But like Methodz at one point, he spawned deep for P4 and they were going for P3 like 20 seconds left on time. That was a money hill. And I was like, oh God, please Methodz, go for spawns. Why are you running at the hill with 20 seconds? And they lost rotations because of that. But literally they retook it instantly.
Yeah, I think
within
their
like
plan,
10 seconds, instantly retook it. They didn't need deep spawns. They got a 4-wipe, and then it ended up a money hill in their hands.
Yeah, I think their plan usually is when it gets to that train hill is just break from the front. We saw Chance talking about how hard it is to hold that back because you do spawn like a couple seconds out in the back room. So like they just hit the front, they nade him out of the hill, and they don't really prioritize those spawns there. And it worked out beautifully because when they did get control, or if it was just a contest battle back and forth, they'd set up on P5 and just lock you in the back. So I think they're creating that meta on Berlin going forward.
You know what? I love it. Boston is looking great, but you know who looks even better? It's going to be TJHaly because we have him for the Game Fuel post-victory interview. And let's go ahead and get him up on the screen. TJ, first things first, man. How you doing? And second off, you guys came in this game dialed in. What was the mindset for this matchup against Paris?
Yeah, so we knew Paris wasn't like the strongest team coming in, so we just had to make sure like we working on our fundamentals. That's what we've been practicing this past week, is just making sure we're doing the right stuff on the map. And yeah, I mean, it was a clean series, honest, that third map.
Absolutely, and you know what? Going into this, you guys were already nasty at S&D. You're 2-0 map record, but you were 0-2 in hardpoint, and in respawn you were struggling. But in this series, you wouldn't think you'd struggled at all. So tell me, what was the prep? What did you guys do to kind of up your respawn game?
It's like I said before, we're making a lot of small mistakes, and in this game, it's pretty easy to like hold hills and stuff. We just gotta make sure our fundamentals are good. Pretty much that's it. And in cleaning up on the small mistakes that was costing us against like the good teams. So yeah, happy we clutched up both those hard points, and looking forward to our next match.
First off, Teach, congrats on the win. You look great out there. And, you know, some people would say that usually you've been prone to the bad game, inconsistent at times. It's kind of been on your name the last couple of years. In this game so far, what I've seen from you is you've been extremely consistent. On an individual level, what have you been doing to sort of up your gameplay and take it up a level?
Just been like focusing on myself more, trying to play less like selfish in a way. Both the rookies play really fast, so I be the flex player for this team. And I feel like that's really helping me, just being able to use like the best gun for each map. And yeah, I mean, just that pretty much.
There you go, man. It looked great out there.
Yeah, tell Methodz I said that's a handsome human, man. I'm going to leave the stage to you for this last one of the day. Boston Breach, you guys have started out 2-0 here, and it's currently week 2. We have a long season ahead of us, long year ahead of us. Tell the fans out there why, you know, there's going to be good things coming. That's going to continuously come for this Boston team.
Yeah, we're just going to keep improving, and hopefully, you know, for the major, we're looking in good form because we're kind of struggling a little bit in scrims right now. So I'm looking forward to the progress over this next couple of weeks.
All right. Well, you know what, TJ, thank you so much for the interview, man. Yeah, the scrims might look shaky, but on a game day, you guys get the big dub, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. Hope you have a great day, and can't wait to see you next time on screen. You take it easy.
Thank you, too.
No problem. All right, so Ant-Man, 2-0 so far in the CDL, brand new team.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, who would have thought? Well, I mean, we all thought. We love Boston in this household, right? But Boston are looking great. Methodz is playing great, but it's Capsidal that's really still in the show.
Yeah.
What do you think about this team long term here?
I think they have a lot of potential. I mean, they made their roster, like all these teams had their roster set, and they were like last to be formed.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for this Boston Breach team going forward. I think they can really do a lot of damage in the CDL, and we get to Major 2, Major 3, maybe even be championship level. We'll see. We never know, but they look good initially.
Pick up a trophy, baby, all right? But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to send this off to a break. But coming up after that, we're going to see Minnesota Røkkr, and they're going to try to dethrone Seattle Surge, a team that is taking the CDL by storm. Sid Predator and the boys, they're ready to show everybody that they're the best. We'll see you soon on the other side of this break.
Juicy League is brought to you by Zenny Gaming. Armor your eyes with Block's gaming glasses starting at $24 by visiting zenny.com/CDL.
The prophecy will be told. You will not escape your fate. When the cold wind blows.
Welcome back. And if you remember what happened during week 1, Minnesota Røkkr had OpTic fans crying with almost a 3-0. They took it to a game 5, but they still took home the big W. And this time around, they're gonna have to bring it a lot more. They're facing off against the hottest team in the CDL, aLLeY. It's gonna be Seattle Surge.
It is going to be Seattle Surge, especially coming off of their win against Toronto Ultra. Once again, that was our rematch from Kickoff Classic Finals, where Toronto Ultra kind of slammed Seattle Surge, but last week, when it really counted, they put in the work and gave it right on back.
You got that right. And when it comes to the Minnesota Røkkr, Nameless, this team, they looked really good last week. Yeah, they almost blew the 2-0 lead, but still, they have a lot to show us in the lobby, and I can't wait to see what MajorManiak and the boys are going to bring today.
Yeah, I mean, I love what I saw in the Minnesota Røkkr, especially in that game 5, the way that they were able to react and take control. But for the game fuel keys to victory, the retakes need to be on point in S&D. I'm sure they will, but when you're going up against a Seattle team that's playing the bomb 86% of the time, you're going to have to rally together and try to get that initial first blood to get control. Out-rotate Seattle on map 1 and 4. Yes, Seattle is relying on rotation wins. They're number 1 instead of break, so obviously they like to set up, let players like Simp and Pred go fly and apply that pressure while actually is more of the anchor, and then play together to respawn 12th and not traded death percentage. These guys are always together. You gotta be, well, these guys are not always together, and that's why they're 12th in respawn traded kills. They need to try to stay on the same pace, especially when you're going up against a player like Pred, who's gonna be in your face the entire time. He's gonna put you in bad spots. So I think these guys have what it takes. When we saw that game 4 hardpoint that they were able to push the distance and take, that was when we saw the potential of the Minnesota Røkkr. But when you think about this team in the past, that is where they struggled, was hardpoint, especially throughout last year. So I'm hoping that they can fix it this year.
I really like what you said, by the way, for the last fact right there. The fact that they need to play together. Okay, you got Standy, you got MajorManiak attached. This team is actually stacked on paper. They can win a lot of big games, but they do it together as a team. That's an entirely different story, because they definitely have to bring that heat. The team they're facing off against are the Seattle Surge. You take a look at this roster on paper, and it's disgusting. The hype was about Pred being the Rookie of the Year, but right now, aLLeY, Simp is looking like one of the best players this year.
Not only best players, one of the most consistent players. I think that is something a lot of players in the league can lack, is consistently show up in a series and drop giant numbers like Simp does. And it's his whole roster, right? It's Mack and Pred coming up from challengers, absolutely slaying out. And when it comes to this team in this specific matchup, it just comes down to the S&D at the end of the day. We saw how good Røkkr looked against OpTic Gaming last week, and that's how they ended up winning the series. So Seattle need to capitalize on the fact that they are so good at S&D, and they need to turn those defensive rounds around and keep capitalizing on those first bloods. And then in control, capitalize on the fact that Røkkr has been struggling with respawn lately. I have no doubt in my mind that Seattle will be able to take this.
Right, and Nameless, look at that Seattle Surge right now. I know this is crazy, man. You got a team full of rookies, young gunners. You got Simp Phoenix, who ain't afraid to speak his mind, baby, but they're winning. How long do you think this win streak is gonna last, honestly?
It depends. They haven't faced like too much adversity lately. It'll be interesting to see like when they do play a team that just has their number and beats them, 3-0, 3-1, how they bounce back after that. Or if somebody has like a huge blunder in game and they lose it, like in a game 5 situation, like how we saw OpTic lose. Like when that happens to Surge, how will this roster react? That is like the one question I still have about this team. So we'll see eventually. But I mean, as it seems right now, they're just rolling. They're frying, man. Everybody that they go up against, and they keep getting better.
You're right, aLLeY. Okay, you're amazing when it comes to pickups and predictions, right? Okay, just real quick for you. Do you think Minnesota Røkkr has what it takes in this matchup?
I think if they're going to do anything, they'll take an S&D or two. Not two, excuse me. They would win the series if they did that. Take an S&D off of the Seattle Surge, but I don't think they can handle against the aggression out of Pred and Simp.
Hey, we always love an upset story, but who exactly are the underdogs in this matchup? It's going to be the Minnesota Røkkr taking on the Seattle Surge. It's time to send us back over to Miles and Chance. Fellas, take it away.
That is a really good question. Like, who's going to handle this one when it comes to the respawns, Chance? This is an aggressive game. This is going to be breakneck speeds from start to finish?
Sure. I mean, I think to answer the question, the underdog, Minnesota, absolutely the underdog, right? You have Seattle looking like a top 2 team in the game. And honestly, this is like a horrific matchup, I'd say, for Minnesota as well, because their sort of story is like they're great in the respawns, or like average in the respawns. Their S&D pops off. Seattle, though, is actually great in the respawns and arguably the best S&D team in the game. But I will say, Minnesota won the coin flip, and I think that is huge because they get a ban Gavutu control. Gavutu, I mean, Seattle, they have been running the show. Their record is on point. Tuscan, though, they're only 1-1. So admittedly, Seattle's still strong on that map. They've looked good so far, but they don't look nearly as good as they do on Gavutu. So I think that's pretty big for Minnesota. That's a respawn where I think they have a little bit more potential. And the same can be said for Bocage. It is a super mixy map. We saw when Minnesota played against New York. They outslayed the heck out of them, but they didn't get the map win. So what that tells me is they're capable of getting the kills. They just need to find a way to convert that to points. I know these guys would go back to the drawing board. So just for the fact that they win the coin flip, I like Minnesota's chances a little bit more for control. I definitely like their odds on Bocage. So I think, honestly, as far as the underdog story goes, Minnesota, they have potential.
There are guys. We'll see if they can pull it out. But the team they're going up against, Seattle Surge, there is no team hotter right now in the market. 2-2 split for them right off the rip. We're going to see if these pinches pay off. Oh, look at the skins. Boys, you're looking dapper out there in the field.
I like those hands. That's a nice little teal that they're working with. That's actually, it stands out a little bit. I will say, by the way, very interesting opening break from Seattle just to go for that straight up 2-2 split, ignoring the middle of the map, taking care of those outer lanes. And honestly, that's a setup that just screams, we want to keep control and not lose those spawns.
Oh,
you get accuracy posted up on the tank towards the outer. This is as good of a setup as you can really expect to have on P1.
Yep, so far. Time going their way for Seattle Surge now. And again, worrying about next hard point already is accuracy atop of one of many tanks, which is named after him when it comes to the pro scene. He's already got that rotation covered. Now to MajorManiak. Will he find his way into the good books now over towards P2? The money hill, 81% of teams, or 80-ish% of teams managed to hold this one right down. This is going to be a profitable position for both squads to be in. Accuracy holds it down well and truly. Standy now on his way forward through Hay. Oh, and howdy doody, Pred is still in here. Attaches Standy. Forward they go. They find the kills, and they've got a P2.
Oh, that's such a good rhythm from Standy as well. He's pushed out as well. I mean, he could play a corner, almost guaranteed to get at least one more kill, if not multiple, or get the worst timing ever and just get shot in the back. But that's all just for the aggression, trying to get towards this hill. Honestly, the pace has been slowed down quite a bit. Simp trying to work through barn. He gets chopped, and maybe a couple trades coming through. Minnesota, someone please just stand on the hard point.
Yeah, they're on it now. It's going to be Priestahh. He and MajorManiak now holding the line as best they can. Nays come through. Mack finds the kills from upstairs, and that's going to be a nice bit of work once again, though, from Røkkr to get themselves in the lead now, get themselves that time. Over towards Grannies we go. Point number 3 here on Bocage. And, oh, dear, Simp's got the bottom side of the map covered. Pred fighting his way out of Hayside. And in the barn, oh, my God, there was the classic Standy right hook, and Pred, he parries with the low dodge. My man's been playing Sifu. Absolutely smokes him up close and personal. I know every single OpTic fan in the chat, every butthole puckered when they saw that right hook come out.
This is also a brutal setup that they have. You get accuracy posted up like in the tower. Everyone else from Seattle has a pretty nice spread across the map. And that was the first 20 seconds on this hill uncontested. So that is a very strong start. And even the roaming slayers like Pred, he gets to have almost free reign around the map. Sib's picking up 2. They get almost more clean wipes and still just collecting so much time on this hard point. I will honestly say, even from the opening break, I think Seattle has definitely gone back to the drawing boards and trying to reorganize how they play the map just a little bit.
Yeah, it's worked out so far. 10 seconds left here in Grandma's, and it's been pretty clean. Nice trades out and about. Beautiful team shot there from Seattle Surge. Over towards the barn we go now. In a few seconds, wow, Pred is still going. Pred is still alive. MajorManiak finally brings him down. You've got enough time, though, to get Mack in now towards the scene. From up high, oh dear, can't get attached. Beautiful shots out of him. 50 seconds now on the point. Let's see what you can get, Røkkr. You managed to win the fight for it, but how long can you hold it?
And I honestly, look, this might be a long-term storyline for me. I feel like these teams have watched Atlanta FaZe play with some they're having on some of these hills, just with the exact lanes that they're pushing out. So I think both of these teams have certainly gone to the drawing boards and done their homework. But as it stands now on the hard point, bit of contest time coming through. Both teams waiting for that opportunity to make a play. And Pred, maybe he has to be that guy, pick up the big two-piece, stays alive for a moment. Gets taken care of as we just go back to contest time. Barn, neither team able to collect a decent chunk.
Yeah, it's nice to see the contest time coming through again. It's a hard one. Here in Vanguard, of course. Good shots out of Priestahh. Not enough to get Sib, though. Sib is having a nice run of things so far. Standy, 13-9, though, as we come into our final hard point of the set. And a very, very close game between both teams as well. No one really able to walk away with too much, but the river now is dry as the river itself is. No one able to really pick up time. Here we go, though. Røkkr. Dip the toes. Mack and the rest of Seattle Surge winding up for the punch. Here they come. Pred from up high. Mack from the tower. He's taking it slow and steady. Cut down out of the sky. That's going to be great time going towards Røkkr.
That was a beautiful setup by Røkkr, by the way. So much of like the pressure was coming through the back, but then Standy actually leaving the hill to challenge up those top steps was perfect because Pred could have been that guy just to break the hill. But Røkkr, the setup clean early on, still have everything you want. You get Priestahh posted up back barn, and honestly, well, the timing doesn't go his way, or maybe he can play with his food a little bit. But as Pred finds the kills, you see number 3 Mack picked up a 3-piece to walk in by himself and break the hill. So Mack making some big plays.
Yeah, big plays indeed. Pred still from the back to keep these players pinned, and that is not a good look for Røkkr. They're still trapped on the right-hand side of the map. They're desperate to try to make their way out, and it's accuracy. It's Pred. Oh, streak comes to an end. He does get himself that streaking run. So now Mack looking to hold them back again. Over to P1 we go. Good stuff at MajorManiak. Shout out the wall there. He bangs right through it. Trying to provide that pressure still over towards P1 now. Second set up and about. And again, Seattle Surge only just getting across that 100-point mark.
And Mack winning another big gunfight, right? Attached trying to be that roamer. You see Sib, by the way, posted up at the top side of the map. I would not be surprised if he pulled out the automaton just for this moment. Again, it is just taking care of the top and bottom lanes and making sure that no one is able to make any sort of rotation to try and flip those spawns. But Minnesota picking them apart at least towards the middle of the map. Not a massive amount of time you're able to accrue on P1, but it looks like they're going to be set up to try to get those final 15 seconds. Question is, can they make the break? Can they win the gunfights flooding around the back? Well, accuracy for the first one says no. Looks like MajorManiak trying to work towards the bottom, and he picks up a big 2, softening the push. You got Priestahh now working for the top side. By the way, this is the most automatons we have seen on Bocage. I'm telling you, man, teams have been watching FaZe.
The teams are watching FaZe. Well, we're not going to be able to watch FaZe here, but what we can do is go for a listen in with Minnesota Røkkr.
Looking over your time.
Hey, back door, down there. Top on dead.
I'll get time, guys.
Major close back door. I'll go another one. Nice, down there.
Back
Half. I'm on shot.
I'm looking
I'm getting top barn. I'm holding up single. Pick up
10.
I'm holding single. Yeah. Single, Standy. I have your help. Single, dead. One more tractor. One more, put him bomb.
Where did tractor go?
Jack Gary, I think he's still there. He might go
put him bomb, guys. He could go top on.
I'm picking
We flip. Yeah.
I'm looking.
Stay left down there. Shoot.
Back
Barrel dead.
Back left, one shot. He's back tower heady.
Whole side time.
Heady.
A plat, whole side time. A plat.
I'm holding your barn. I'm up.
Go inside. Low T2, Eli.
One shot.
Low T2, good job.
I'm trying to push out like I want.
Yeah.
We top house.
I'm gonna work left, you heard? Yeah.
Top house. One shot person up top.
I'm trying to nade top house.
I'm sliding in the A-bomb.
I nade top house. He's top house. Priestahh.
I'm gonna help you A-plat. Let's work.
I don't see anybody back here. He's gonna be tower heady.
I'll name him.
I'm
one shot. Top ladder, heady.
AG corner. Tower, ramp dead.
Killed me.
We spawn back. Standy on top, AG corner. Where'd he go? Up to the AG corner.
Hold on, I'm flanking A-plat.
He's gonna flank window maybe.
I have your A-bomb. And tools.
Gain tower, I think.
I'm looking tower.
He's tower.
AG corner back window. AG corner back to hill.
Priestahh on time. Major dead.
One more.
Back window.
Let's go.
Big trade.
One shot.
Good.
One shot. Two side time, front side tools.
Still in front of me.
He went out. The back window. He's in the street. On the street.
One shot, front door.
I'm pushing.
I detonated my rush.
Tools.
Dead.
Gate. Trying to get out left.
Chance, I was so excited and raptured by the gameplay that I called for the wrong team for the listening. But my word, Seattle Surge pulling things back. But this is a spicy Bocage indeed, my friend. What have you noticed from listening?
It feels like this is like one of the most like controlled, least chaotic bokages we have had. Maybe this is just me getting more used to the map, or maybe this is teams adjusting, and I think it's more likely to be the case that teams are starting to figuring things out. That being said, super tight game on the Barn Hill. Attach that roaming Slayer. He gets to push out these lanes. His teammate's responsible for mid, but he should be able to call out that they're all flooding in through that side, and once the pressure comes, Attach needs to get back actually towards the hill. He gets hunted down. Seattle, that is 3 players that swarmed him just to drop him, and Seattle fighting in through Barn. 25 seconds left on this hill. Røkkr, they really got to fight for it.
I know it could be the presence of more automatons here on the field that's slowing things down and even, contributing to maybe less engagements. MajorManiak, sneaky as you like, he's going to be able to find a little bit more as we make our way over towards the next hard point. Bottom grandma's now. Pred's already lined up for this one. We're still tight. It is still anyone's game. 1:45 on the in-game clock as well. Keep an eye on that as it does get dicey here on Bocage. Sibwin, the big one, towards the backside of Granny's. And over to the river now as the time's up and Surge are in point.
And that's just huge gunfights won on that rotation, right? Sib and Pred both turning up to make sure no one's able to get towards the back. And honestly, once again, set up too clean. Sib is ready for the gunfight towards the back. Røkkr, they're setting up to flood through the front. And that is almost worst case scenario. That's not the spot you want to be, but MajorManiak at least getting the players outside the hill. Priestahh gets another beam of a gunfight, but off of Pred. Just a 1 bullet to clean up crew, and Seattle will be right back inside. Again, flooding through the front is not a fun spot, but right now, Røkkr, I mean, they're just being forced to spawn so far away. Even with the nades on point, even with Standy picking up 3, or honestly, that might be good enough. Standy, there you go, 3-piece. That's how you break it up.
Yeah, the break's on. Priestahh wins another good one. And Seattle Surge, they are throwing themselves at this point. They are throwing themselves at Røkkr. Røkkr haven't managed to get too much out of it. Seattle holding it down, all good. Nice bit of work again towards the center of the map we go, Chance. And this has been such a good point for Seattle Surge here. Now at the 200-point mark and climbing. Here we go, Røkkr. It's been a crazy bocage to start the series off. You have to try to finish strong.
And look who got in the back, though, right? If you're thinking about long-term, that actually set up towards new. Well, Seattle had that slight advantage. P1, there is a ton of dead time on this hill. There was more dead time on this one than any other hill in the game, understandably so. But right now, Røkkr actually collecting a decent bit. Seattle still are holding on to those spawns, but honestly, this is a decent chunk of P1 time that they've given away. Finally able to make that break, and Attach gets chopped down as well. Seattle taking care of business, keeping those spawns secured, making sure they don't accrue that P1 time, and might be set up to have, what, a 25, maybe 30-second lead going into a money hill. Røkkr, the pressure's on.
Pressure's on indeed. Attach has got to go big here. He's basically flying solo. He gets dropped. MajorManiak playing real slow, holding down that tank, trying not to let anyone of Seattle Surge get on that point, but at 220 now, Røkkr. It's starting to look a bit dangerous. Forward into the point we go. It's already Seattle Surge on that one. Accuracy is snuck on through. The kill's coming through now from Priestahh. It's an open field for the time being. Sib on the flank, cutting out the players on spawn. He only gets one, an unfortunate team nade. And now, back onto the point we go. Priestahh v Pred. Oh dear, an unfortunate nade once again, as teams are just rolling at each other. You've got Surge with the numbers now, but the kills once again going the way of Røkkr. Mack winning the fight mid-map. Time going back towards Minnesota. Standy now, can't win it against Simp. The trades are all good though, as the teamwork keeps flowing, and Chance, it is not over yet.
No, trades on trades. By the way, just 44 seconds on the game clock. And well, if there's no contest time or nobody in the point, the game clock might become a factor, or Seattle could still win this game potentially on this next hill. And this is important scrap time, by the way. Number 8, they might want to fight it. I think Røkkr maybe go for a last-ditch effort, but Attach, I think, just cut his losses, or maybe just go for that final push. But this is the rotation. 35 seconds on the game clock. Seattle, they get one break. They win the game, but you do have Røkkr here first.
Yep, Røkkr now. Shut the doors and windows. Get ready for the fight. Board them up if you can, as here come the shambling mess of Seattle Surge. They're coming for your brains, friends. Now, Standy, patrol on the outside, desperate to not let anyone through. Pred from upstairs. So you might have seen a shadow there. And the patience, will it pay off? As inside the point, the pressure's starting to mount. Here comes the play from Mack through the top stairs. He's going to find one. Oh, Pred comes through the side window as well. The kills are good. They're on point. And that is it from Seattle Surge. A patient retake and a strong one at that. There is no hope. The final dash, the last second plays. Seattle Surge, a clinical finish.
Slang on point, rotations on point. Seattle taking care of business even towards the end. You love the patience for Pred just to wait for Standy to come back up those stairs, but that was just constant. And again, that is probably the slowest bocage we have actually seen. in terms of the chaos, in terms of the trade. I think these two teams may be figuring out how to control the map just a little bit better. And again, might be the most automatons we've seen on this map in, well, ever. CDL, I suppose. But, I mean, a lot of good work. That is one of those games where you can just go hill by hill and start to break down everything that both of these teams were doing right. But I think in the end, maybe just slaying OP, right? Pred, 37 and 29. Mack, right, or not too far behind, 31 and 30, but just a hyper competitive game. Seattle had the slight edge.
Yeah, again, it's the MP40s once again doing so much work there, finding so many kills. Pred, he has been a true standout. I mean, if anyone's been watching his personal streams, the man has been slaying it. And that, oh my God, as soon as I saw Standy go for that beatdown, I was taken back to that round 11. Oh, baby, last week. And I know a few other fans were, but that was an impressive run there again out of Seattle Surge. It looked controlled almost all the time, Chance. I mean, Røkkr, they put up a mean fight. They're a tough team.